Mr. Segal, why Mr. Stallone is the good guy? Why?
I loved Stallone. In the beginning of his career, Rocky Balboa was the most sensitive character I think he's ever played. And since then, he's gotten into a lot more action, especially with the Expendables, and I thought this was a chance to harken back to what made him so loved. And Razor Sharp is a very sensitive, injured soul, and I thought that would tap into the thing that made me fall in love with Stallone in the first place.
And Mr. De Niro was always cool with this thing, especially about the ending.
Well, it felt like De Niro's character won more, with the relationship problems he had. There was a different competition for him. He had a different love story. So I don't want to give away the end of the movie, but everyone got something in the end, and so yeah. But he was okay with that because it was best for his character.
I wonder if we laugh a lot about the egg scene. The scene. Was it in the screenplay, or
the egg scene wasn't there at first because I convinced Sly to do the movie because I told him it was not going to be a parody. But then this one idea of drinking the eggs came up, and I thought, okay, well, I'm going to present it to him, and I didn't know how it was going to go. And he said he liked it so much that he said we should put one more reference. So we came up with the meat locker moment.
Yeah.
And we said, okay, that's it. Let's stop there because I don't want to turn this into Naked Gun. But just a couple of little references there, just as our homage to those movies.
And about Naked Gun and about your wonderful movies with Mr. Sandler in the past, in Italy is very loved the romantic comedy with Drew Barrymore.
50 First Dates.
Yes.
Oh, great.
It's very loved.
Thank you.
It's your best movie for us critics in Italy. And what about this changing in your career in a way with this movie?
Well, even though I've been doing comedy for a number of years, every time I do one, I'd like to try to find something a little bit different. 50 First Dates was a romantic comedy. Tommy Boy was sort of dumb guys. Naked Gun was a joke book. This is a different kind of story and has a little more gravitas and drama in it. And that was a nice departure for me because I felt like this movie had to work as being very real, about real people, real problems, and not heightened. So it was a nice change for me. It was a nice difference.
And what about the cabaret scene with Mr. De Niro? Because this is a wonderful reference to the
Raging Bull.
Jack,
yeah.
Yes, the Jack LaMotta late period.
Yes.
What about?
Well, because we were showing him 30 years after the fight that never was, we wanted to depict a lifestyle that showed him being very sour and at the bottom, trying to work his way back up. And there was a point at which we could reference Raging Bull without going too far. As a matter of fact, in the beginning, Bob asked me, "Do I need to gain 60 pounds for this?" I said, "No, we'll pad you for that." But he did have to lose a lot of weight, for the end of the movie, and that was hard.
Which is your favorite scene in the movie?
One of my favorite scenes is between De Niro and Jon Bernthal when they're reconciling in the restaurant. I really loved watching these two guys work together because both had worked with Scorsese, who encourages a lot of improvisation, and there was a lot of improv in that scene, but it was about something very emotional. And just watching these two masters, Jon Bernthal is a very young actor, but he's really terrific. And seeing him work with De Niro was a fascinating process for me. I really enjoyed that scene.
Is John the De Niro character in the beginning, in the montage?
Yes. We used, because Jon Bernthal boxes in real life, he had an understanding of how De Niro moved. And he studied Raging Bull, and since we had to de-age them for the opening flashback documentary, we used John's body you know, to portray the young De Niro, and we put a de-aged De Niro's face on him, and so he not only played his son, but he played De Niro as well. So he really did.
It's
study.
a good choice.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mr. Segal, have a nice day.
All right, you
have
too.
Have a nice Roman day.
Yes.
Bye.